Luis Garcia, MBNG 487, LAB7 Redo. As you can see from the board, I got my LM34, potentiometer, photoresistor, all connected to my multiplexer on different channels, and from the multiplexer, the signal goes to the ADC. My code is, as you can see, I got my variables and pins, my options to either hit record, download, continue. We go down our download section. One part to note is that if J is greater than or equal to 100, let me change that. It should be 100. This means that any measurements over 100 will be deemed out of memory, and we will get a debug terminal saying that we are currently out of memory. Keep going, we see that our photoresistor, when the value of the photoresistor is greater than 200, it will mean that there's dark out, and any value under 200 means that there's day out, and then we can proceed to actually record those measurements. But as long as it is greater than 200, we will be looped in this part of the code. Once we hit daytime or a value under 200, it will take us to our LM34 to take that measurement, and then to our potentiometer to take that measurement. Let's run it. First, we will put our cap on so that our system is currently dark out. Let's run it. Running it. The debug terminal, we get record, download, or continue. In order to do one of these, we either have to select big R, little r, big D, little d, big C, little c. Any other character that are not those, we will get the message not an option and to try again. Not an option, try again. Not an option, try again. Let's hit R for recording. Our value is greater than 200, so it signifies that it is not day out. And that is because our cap is over our photoresistor. As soon as we take that, signifying daytime, let's hit record again. Recording, less than 200, so we can actually start taking those measurements. As you can see, our temp and our potentiometer value, we can keep taking those different measurements, and we can switch the potentiometer by turning it. We can blow on the LM34. We can keep doing that, and every time we make adjustments, our values change. Let's blow on it again. As you can see, the temperature increased. So now let's put our cap back on it, signifying nighttime. Goes over 200, not day, record. If we hit download, all of the values that were measured are as followed. And as you can see, we did measure 21 measurements, which is less than the 100 in the program, so it'll actually show us. If we go continue now, obviously it is the cap's on, meaning that it is daytime. Let's take it off. Let's go continue. Let's try to continue. It is daytime, so our measurements are being taken again. Let's go see if our measurements were added to our download. See, nighttime. Let's download. As you can see, now we have 28 measurements. So we left off at 21, and when we hit continue, we did these extra measurements. So nothing was started. It just continued from where it left off. So now let's go back to our program. Let's change, where's download? Let's change this value so you can see the add a memory debug in the debug terminal. Let's go with anything greater than 5 measurements will be deemed out of memory. Let's run it. Let's record a few measurements. So it starts taking those measurements. Obviously anything over 5 measurements will be deemed out of memory. Okay, so now let's consider it nighttime by putting the cap over again. Not day. This takes us back to the options part of the code, and if we try to download it out of memory because we passed our limit of 5 measurements, let's try to download those measurements that we just took out of memory, so we can't. Okay, I think that wraps up the lab. I think I'm not missing anything. Let's see, hitting the reset button will just restart the program and it will take us back to this.